This episode is brought to you by Disney's Mufasa, The Lion King. Get tickets now for the ultimate family holiday movie experience. Reunite with the characters you know and the untold story you'd never expect. Witness Mufasa's rise from orphan to king and see how the legendary villain Scar got his name. Disney's Mufasa, The Lion King. In theaters everywhere now. The kingdom awaits.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in places that could expose you to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, their US-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
We're back with another episode of Horror Movie Night, and this week for Christmas. Oh, hold a second. For Christmas, we're talking about 1990s Dark Angel.
Yes, a Christmas movie.
A Christmas movie for sure.
Movie.
Because
Dark
Christmas
Angel
happens...
subtitle A Christmas Story.
Yeah. Also
the
known
Dark
as
Angel of the
I
first
Come in
Noel.
Peace.
It's a time of year film.
We couldn't do this alone. We had to bring in our friend Benji, who works behind the scenes on a ton of stuff for Horror Movie Night. Go to our TeePublic site and get his Bloodhook design that he made for us.
You mean the one that I'm wearing right now?
Yeah!
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
But also, he's part of a really dope movie that we're going to be talking about in place of the What Did I Watch This Week portion of the show. So strap in for that. But first, Benji, you had a couple options, and boy, were you excited to do Dark Angel. So what's the story there?
Honestly, I just quickly searched it up, and I came across, I don't know if I want to spoil anything too soon, but I came across that ending and that final line. Honestly, that kind of sold me on it. But also the timing of it and the sound effects that they had in the little clip that I watched too, just it felt right for me.
This was, I think, the most shocked I've ever been that I wasn't watching a Canon Pictures film, because this whole movie screams Canon Pictures. And it was actually funny. I texted the Podfather Jonathan London and said, "Have you ever seen Dark Angel?" And he was like, "Of course I have." And his response was, "That's the movie where Dolph Lundgren feels the most human."
Yeah.
And he's not wrong.
Well, Dolph was excited about this one because he was like, I get to actually act. He was like, it's a buddy cop movie,
too.
you know? And
Yeah.
and he said that there's a little romance in it, and I'm like, but is there? Because I was expecting a sex scene, and no sex scene.
We kept revving up to that.
They hint to it.
Yeah, but I mean, I wanted to see bodies rubbing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well,
I wanted
Scott,
to
you
sound like
got
the
plenty of
Sandor
that.
of my
just
fingers.
like jaw.
Scott, you got plenty of that last week. All right, so
Plenty.
True.
Kyle,
Yes.
you have volunteered for the seemingly impossible task of handling the plot summary on this week's episode.
Again,
Before
I'm
you
so
do-
glad. Again, Benji is here with who had made the suggestion that we go back to it, and now he picked the movie that is the hardest to do this for, and now he's gonna stare me in the face while I try to do this.
Yeah, you know
but I'm
what?
excited.
Actually,
Setting the
kick
bar.
him out.
fuck you, Benji. We should have made you do the plot summary on this one. In
Yeah, exactly. He picked it more or
I
less.
was expecting it, to be honest. I sounded so much meaner in the email when you read it, Matt. Originally.
What, the email where you said that you never know what the fuck we're talking about when you listen to our show?
I use the word never? I don't know. Maybe.
Did you use the word fuck is the bigger question. Also, I mean,
most likely.
You're the meanest Canadian I've ever met. So
good. That's good.
Also,
at least you know AI didn't write my email for you.
Well, maybe AI did write your email because it was so mean. But Kyle, I think that you probably need some liquid courage.
I'm thirsty as fuck.
Yeah. So why don't you tell me what you're gonna have, and I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna have.
Okay. So this was a tough one. You know, there's an alternate title. I Come in Peace. Was trying to find something there. Dark Angel, Dark Lager of some sort. And then I was just like, oh my God, Tox from New London puts out Angel Wings. And I was like, this is a perfect. It's just perfect. It's the most opposite can design to Dark Angel ever, but it's Angel Wings. And there's no wings in Dark Angel, but what do you got going on?
I have deer snacks from Shacksbury cider, and I don't know if it's going to be any good, but I thought that it has nothing to do with cider, and this movie has nothing to do with Christmas, so why not just get them together?
Why not just have something?
Nothing. I don't love anything as much as I love Christmas in a hot climate. And what do you got?
Yes, what do we got?
There we go.
Space Invader. I love it.
Space Invader IPA from Benji.
I kind of felt like Benji was going to get in on this with us.
I was hoping.
Oh, of course I had to.
Yes.
Absolutely, it helps me with my courage.
Cheers, boys. I'm sorry we don't have any Lone Star to sip on while we talk about this very Texas movie, too. What the fuck?
Yeah, this
okay,
is
anyway.
Was it actually shot in Texas? Because it looks like L.A.
There was one exterior that I was like, oh, this is really flat. Like I was trying to find the skyline and like see what was going on. I was like, this is flat. I didn't look it up, but there's a chance that it was actively shot in Houston. But the story takes place in Houston, and we follow Jack Kane, played by the Dolph, who fucks up pretty bad right out the gate. He, which is not necessarily his fault. He's a cop, and there's an armed robbery right next door to the restaurant where he is staking surveillance for his undercover buddy, who is in the midst of a drug deal with white-collar heroin dealers, a gang called the White Boys, according to Wikipedia. I don't remember them ever.
I think that there's a Z.
White Boys with a Z. Yeah,
White Boys. Yeah.
It wasn't until Wikipedia mentioned the White Boys. And then I was like on the hunt for it. And there's like one or two lines where they refer to them as the White Boys. Yeah. It is. Yes. They do not use it nearly enough for that being the name of the gang.
No. Wikipedia uses it far more. But listen, look, like, I mean, they are also true. They are white. They are white collar, pasty white Texans. Actually, none of them have an accent. I don't think I heard one accent in this movie.
But the leader looks like a hobbit.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, is that guy one of the White Boys, or is he just a stooge?
Which one?
He's like a character actor. I don't know his name, and I didn't look it up.
Oh, the one who's at the playing billiards.
Yeah, and he gets a gun in his cock.
Oh, Boner. Yeah. His name's Boner.
His name is Boner.
Yeah.
He's he's an amazing character actor.
Matt, that's Herman from Scrooged.
Oh, yes, he is. Boy, is he.
Spaulding's little buddy in House of Thousand.
He's always fun. I mean, it's truly horror movie night when we reference Scrooged or House of a Thousand Corpses, and not, I don't know, Bonnie and Clyde, the movie he's most famous for being in. Culturally significant movie, Bonnie and Clyde. But
whatever.
Never seen it.
So Jack Kane fucks up. His partner gets killed, and he goes away for about a week, just, reeling from the death of his partner. But there is more crime to be solved, I guess. And so the white-collar white boys are attempting to have another deal with this heroin, and what happens is 3 of their stooges all get killed in one clean swoop by Talik, which is the Dark Angel who we get introduced to, who, quote, comes in peace before he blows up literally anything and everything. But he is clearly after these massive amounts of heroin, which had gotten stolen from an inside job at the police department. It's a little messy.
With more
down
explosions
in Houston.
Too. But I
more
thought that
explosions.
He was synthesizing space heroin by injecting stuff in people's chests and then sucking different stuff out of their foreheads. So I don't quite understand if that space heroin is like, is he taking Earth heroin back to his planet to be like, "Yo, try this," or is that dried space heroin? I never quite figured that out.
I like to think that he was sourcing other materials to make a more potent and deadly heroin, a la, like, let's think of this as like the fentanyl type thing. It's like if fentanyl was an alien thing, or if, well, maybe the opposite. Maybe like there is an Earth. Earth is a different thing that these space aliens have not ventured forth to, and now he knows how to get the endorphins from humans. You might not know, listener, what we are talking about, but I do promise you it is within the first 20 minutes.
Yeah,
this alien.
There's a lot of explosions, and there's a lot of like, holy shit, this is weird, kind of like. And this is the most
and also,
80s movie from 1990.
No,
and also our like us declaring this a Christmas film. All of that is in the first like 30 seconds of this movie, where a guy yells "Merry fucking Christmas" while crashing into a Christmas tree lot. And that's about, beyond that, there's like tinsel on some things throughout the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
But
there's fake Christmas decorations.
Yeah, this is our Die Hard.
They had so much money put into the pyrotechnics for this movie that they were like, we don't have anything left over for Christmas decorations.
That's literally how it feels.
Christmas music.
There was a little bit of Christmas music. I think I did hear a little bit of Christmas music, and again, right up at the front, there was a little bit. So yeah, I mean, and it's Houston in December. There's just no, like, I don't know. There's nothing. We watched what did we watch recently? A Silent Night, Deadly Night 4 Initiation, which is a California Christmas movie. Again, so little Christmas that it just nothing feels like it. Anyway, you know, Talik the alien comes in, kills off a handful of these people with a metal frisbee Beyblade type thing that just keeps going and slices throats, razor thin.
It's a CD-ROM. He just throws CDs.
It is. It's gonna maybe play into my double feature. But what happens is Jack Kane comes back from his bender. He gets tagged with a partner who is a by-the-book dweeb named Detective Smith, and now they have to investigate. Huh?
He's a
Fed. Yeah, he's a federal agent. He's a federal detective, federal agent, who is now, now this sort of major drug deal case is under their jurisdiction, but they're going to still work with the Houston PD to try to figure out some stuff. Jack Kane has his own ways of trying to solve some crimes, like sticking a gun in Boner's boner, while Detective Smith has some more like book knowledge, book smarts about how to go about things.
Also,
so
what kind of bar was
heads.
that? It was like a regular bar, but there was a woman who kept showing her boobies, and guys were playing billiards. Like, that's nothing I've ever seen in my life.
No. I was watching that on a plane too, and I was just like, I don't know, man. It's so funny.
Watching
Boobs
this on
a plane makes me more nervous than like anything else. And they were just big old fake boobs, and they were just flopping so much. And I mean that with all respect. It was just a difficult scene on the airplane. But anyway, I don't know what kind of bar it was. I'd be afraid to go in there and pop a boner. There was a whole pop a boner pun. Don't forget it. That was lovely. And yeah, so nobody. But then Jack Kane doesn't find out anything really, and then something clicks with him. They go back to the scene of the crime, and they find the spinning disc. All while this is happening, Talik, the alien, is out there trying to score, or trying to cook his alien drug, basically, by injecting people with heroin into their chest, as Scott had said, letting them get high immediately, just massive amounts of heroin into them. Their endorphins in their brain start going, so then he sucks out the endorphins from their brain, and now he has either the drug that he's going to bring back to the alien planet, or at least the component to cook the drug that he's going to bring back to his alien planet. We don't know, because the dude just keeps saying, "I come in peace," and he has no explanation for anything. We don't know anything about him. But we do know there is an intergalactic cop who is also after this guy. The hits just keep on coming. It's really crazy. So now there's this intergalactic cop named Azek. Which I keep saying, I keep wanting to say Aztec. Azek. He's got the biggest forehead I've ever seen. And
I mean, it's almost like to look like that.
He looks like Clint Howard.
It looks like Clint Howard and Michael Ironside like had a cousin. Have you guys watched Hey Arnold? It looks like Arnold's cousin.
Who do you podcast with? Of course, Matt's watch Hey Arnold.
Yeah. I practically have a podcast about it. Coming soon.
So, in the midst of all this, I mean, I know I'm jumping a little bit, but there are about 3 sort of shootouts with alien guns that literally blow up anything in sight.
Massive explosions.
Massive, crazy alien guns. There's a lovely sort of like mad scientist or college professor who's over caffeinated who they go to try to figure out like what this alien artifact is, which is hysterical. He's probably one of my favorite characters.
He is the best character in this movie. He makes it. So this is way more procedural than I was expecting, or else I would have been like, hey, you guys really want to do this movie? Because it felt like 2 hours, but it was really an hour and 28 minutes.
Well, I'm trying to figure out. I've been like over here scrolling, trying to find this. How did we even discover this movie? Because
this was I want to say VCR of Death or some. I found it actually because I sent it to you guys in our Instagram chat, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is a Christmas movie. We should watch this sometime."
Okay, that's what it was. Because I was like, someone found the trailer and sent it to us, and I genuinely like. Part of me was like, because I remembered watching the trailer, like that much I remembered, but part of me was like, did Kyle or I find this on a VHS PS and hit the group up? Because if I recall correctly, the trailer really sells this movie harder than the movie could ever sell itself, which is par for the course when it comes to these late 80s, early 90s films.
We'll never really learn. There's no science to figuring out how to decipher those trailers. They really got you good. They really know how to do it.
We'll talk more about that later, I guess. Those tricky video stores.
That's right. That's right. This also again we're gonna get into it later, but the color palette of Dark Angel and then going into Last Video Store, I was just like, yeah, okay, this is really, really solid. There's a lot of overlap here. I forgot to mention that Jack Kane is also dating the coroner of the Houston PD. Of
course he is. Why not?
Her name is Diane Pallone, and they are the only ones who are understanding that there is something alien going on here. And we figure that out because the coroner sees the 2 entry points or entry and exit point for this heroin thing, that they've all died of crazy ODs. Oh, as I said, we know that there is Azek, who is after Talik, who are an alien drug lord and a cop, respectively. So
they never say the names in the movie, do they?
They don't. All of this has come.
Too, but they never said the name.
They never said the names. These are just credited as such. And it is no help in explaining this. There's the bleach blonde angel, and then the big forehead cop. And it does feel like a graphic novel. Like at that point in time, it feels like a comic
This feels
book,
like
really.
It would have been like Image Comics, 1990. Yeah. It's so ridiculous.
Well, and the Wikipedia said that they were trying to do sequels to this movie for a long time, which I don't understand because it didn't make its money back. Maybe it did on video rental, but it certainly did not do well in the box office.
There's no way this could have made its money back because, first of all, the budget was all explosions, and secondly, it is so forgotten that it took us digging to find it, and we have been digging for a decade, and this is someone else had to find it for us. So this was definitely a lost film for me.
Yeah, no, I had a VHS rip because I had a tape at some point in time, and then I remember I had my hard drive of VHS rips had crashed. So then when I tried to watch it again, it was all jumbled. So I'm glad I watched it also on a little bit better quality, because it is. I mean, the explosions are big, the colors are cool. Some of the violence, the horror of it does continue to kind of build. We don't see the first human drug oven happen really, but we do eventually, as he starts to kill more and more people or OD more and more people, we see more and more sort of violent images of that. So it's not an incredibly bloody movie, but there are a lot of explosions. The next major one being that this intergalactic cop finally, we get a hold of him. He bleeds out marshmallow fluff, That's just how you know he's an alien.
Yeah.
Or more cottage cheese, really. Is more cottage cheese-y.
White is the grossest color of blood to choose. I don't know why. Why is it? Why is white the grossest?
It looks like when they eat paper, and it just becomes paper mache in their stomachs, and that's why it's gross to me.
Yeah. That's nasty, Scott.
It's a little wild. There's something that we kind of skimmed past because it's a fucking worthless plot point. But just before the good alien, as I wrote in my notes, just bad alien and good alien, just before the good alien blows up inside the car, there's this scene where Dolph Lundgren walks into a lobby that's got tinsel, and it feels like every parody of every action movie because there's just two security guards in suits standing there, and the one guy kind of gently taps him on the shoulder and is like, "Hey man, you're not supposed to be here." Cut to 5 minutes of Dolph Lundgren just kicking them over and over and over again until he walks into a boardroom where every member of the boardroom pulls out a gun.
But then also and they all put down their guns because he's got a gun pointed at their boss, and he's like, "Drop it."
Yeah.
There are 13 dudes there that could have shot him faster than he could have shot the boss.
It's illogical in every sense of the word, but I do love this alien blowing up. Maybe my favorite part in the movie, outside of the closing line. But it's some good stuff. It's like, hey, here's where a little bit of the budget, not for explosions, went, because he has this mouth open and it's a bunch of painted on lighting effect things that they just still work for me.
And he explodes real good in the backseat, but he leaves behind a powerful alien gun, which now Smith and Kane have a real battle of wits, and Smith decides that he's going to take the gun to his federal agent superior. And we all know how that goes. In 1990, that means that you're going to get your ass double-crossed. Mm-hmm. And he almost does. But Jack Kane acts on instinct and not book smarts, and he makes sure that he protects his newfound partner, Agent Smith. And now Agent Smith is seen. He's through the looking glass. He knows he's been red pilled. He knows what's going on here.
Paper mache pilled.
And then and now they're trauma bonded, and they have to take down this drug lord alien. In which they do. Them and Diane all lead the alien to or they find the alien's stash of almost alien heroin, and they take it, and then
this is the part I laugh the most. He just pops up like a fucking Halloween deck. They stepped on the pad, and he just
there's 3 jump scares in which he does that, and it feels like he kind of looks a little bit like homeboy from Twin Peaks. Bob? No. Is it Bob?
I can't help you. I've never watched Twin Peaks.
Anyway.
And it's been years since I watched it,
fine.
so I'm
that's
kind
fine.
of
that's
also...
Fine. That's fine. As soon as you see him do that, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So Bad Alien chases him down. They're devising a plan as they run away. They're going to go into this abandoned factory in which Kane, in true Dolph Lundgren fashion, we put the guns down. The guns get put down, and now we're in hand-to-hand combat / you want your drugs, you gotta come get them situation, and which happens, and then they manage to, and you have to forgive me, I don't know where the last line comes into play for Talik here.
He only has the one line, man. He just says, "I come in peace."
"I come in peace."
I come in peace.
I win. No, he says, "I win."
The line.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
Lundgren
right.
then
So
looks at him and goes,
get,
and you go and
edged. Doesn't he call him asshole? He's like, "Go in pieces, asshole." But you get edged by Dolph Lundgren because he goes, "Fuck you, spaceman," and then he kicks him in the chest, and he goes flying backwards, and he gets a pipe through his chest, and we get more of the paper mache mixed with the green goo from because there's a good 2-minute battle where Talik is using his little, it looks like a fucking like a drain cleaner. You know, like those electric.
It does look like a snake.
Yeah, like a snake.
Yep. Snake,
But it's got a green light at the end, and we just have Dolph Lundgren go, oh. Like, that was actually the least entertaining part of the entire movie. And then we get the "fuck you, spaceman" line, which gets you ready to come in pieces, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does. He has this beautiful delivery of I come in peace, you go in pieces. We blow his ass up with the
gun turned to max.
Yeah. Yes, the gun all the way, alien gun all the way up. Jack Kane has done all he could do hand to hand, and now it's time to blow his ass to smithereens. Send him off in pieces. He blows up a bunch of oil tanks, which you just leave in an abandoned factory. As you do, that's where you think everything goes to a landfill or is recycled. No, it's just
it's
there.
somewhere in a warehouse in Houston.
And then, my God, arm in arm, Smith, Kane, Diane, Pallone, Pallone.
Like they're about to go find the Wizard of Oz, and they're just about to skip down that.
They're going on vacation.
That yellow road.
Yeah.
She's been wanting to go on vacation forever. She's been looking at dead bodies for the last however many years. She's ready to go to Tahiti. Wait, I don't know where he said Rio.
Rio.
They were going to go to Rio.
The drug lord went to Rio. Sent a picture of himself with two topless women that said wish you
I'm
were
glad
dead.
your partner. Like it was vile like shit. It was like I'm glad your partner's dead or something. It was
now that you brought him up, he got away scot-free.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Well,
they do plan to go see him in Rio.
Is them taking the big alien guns because they have two now, and going to blow up the white boys.
Yeah. Well, there's so there's a few things that I want to mention. First of all, as Kyle has pointed out earlier, the Wikipedia really just adds subtext where it's not found. The final paragraph of the Wikipedia is like, and now the characters, knowing that because they've blown up this one creature who isn't going to be able to go back to his home planet, Earth will no longer be invaded, and they walk off. Like I feel like that's mostly subtext that you the writer of the Wikipedia plot summary, was like, I need to make sure the reader of this plot summary knows that everything's okay now.
No, they
I was
love
worried
Dark
until
Angel.
I read the Wikipedia entry.
Yeah, I was concerned. And also, I have to give a shout out to, there is this scene where a guy is driving, it looks like a Zamboni, through a parking lot.
Yeah, what the
before
hell?
he gets attacked. And he is listening to a rap song that I had to find out what it was, because I was like, what is this song? It's a song called Ugly by the U Crew. And it is straight up, it is straight up just a song describing ugly girls. That is the entire premise of the song. Yeah. The chorus is UGLY, I don't know why, UGLY, you make me want to cry.
Incredible. Man, that would have absolutely killed in elementary school for me in 1990.
I know,
right, guys?
That's gnarly. That's gnarly. I forgot about that.
There's one scene, there's one line that I wrote down that I had to rewind because I was just like, it's incredible. Because the rest in or go in pieces, motherfucker, or whatever, or it's asshole. I'm so sorry. It's good, but is it as good as what university did you attend? The University of Suck My Dick?
Perfect.
Like Dolph Lundgren probably was like, I'm gonna walk if I don't get it. If you guys don't put more quips in this movie.
Toxic masculinity is only fun in these movies.
And I feel like Dolph Lundgren is like probably a sweetheart. He just played like a badass in all these movies, because I love that he was like, oh, I actually got to act in this like ridiculous action buddy sci-fi comedy.
He did, brother. He went for it. And I was, there was still plenty of spin kicks to keep me happy, but
one of which knocked out an actor. I saw that on one of his roundhouse kicks. The actor missed his mark. I
want to say it's one of the two guys I was talking about in the lobby.
No, it was one of the, when he goes in to fight the guys in the convenience store when he's supposed to be on a stakeout. Yeah, and motherfucker gets distracted by guy with gun over here and decides to go and kick their ass while his stakeout's happening and gets his partner killed. But he knocked out one of those guys.
Holy shit!
The roundhouse
Can you
kicked the guy,
imagine?
but it was the actor's fault, not Lundgren's fault. That's why you
It's
get your mark.
professional.
You go
Well,
home
that's
and you're
the
like, your wife's like, "Hey, honey, how was your day?" I'm like, "Oh, I got knocked unconscious by Dolph Lundgren."
Yeah.
and got paid
That's
for it.
like the
Whose fault
That's-
was it? Mine.
that's what I think is so kind of fascinating about the 80s action movie genre in general is like the ones who are still famous today, right? Like the ones who are still making movies and everybody knows their names. You've got like the Arnold the Schwarzeneggers and the Sylvester Stallones really couldn't fight to save their fucking lives for the most part. And then the ones who just had this brief moment of time, like your Jean-Claude Van Dammes and your Dolph Lundgrens, like those dudes were legitimate, could beat the shit out of you if you got into a fight with them in the street. But usually that did not translate to being able to act compellingly on film quite the way that the others could. So, like, yeah, that poor Dolph, like, that dude could beat the ever-loving piss out of you if he caught you in the street. But
I had to look it up because I was like, I actually took a note of like, he is so fucking tall. When he stands next to his like buddy cop, like the Fed, he looks like an absolute monster of a human. He's only 6'5". Which, I mean, only. I say that as a man who is not even 6 feet tall. But I was expecting like 6'8". But then also, Talik, it stands a good 4 inches taller than him. And they had him in 6-inch lifts for sure. It, like in that that battle when you, at the end, if you look at Talik's shoes, they are like fucking Eddie Munster shoes. I noticed that today when I was watching.
He has to be, dude. That's crazy. 6'5" is still
6'5" is nothing to sniff at. There are so many women who would only date a man 6 foot tall and up, but you know, then there's me.
Dolph.
well,
But who wins out, Scott?
What? But who wins out?
Who wins out?
I mean,
You
Dolph
did.
is
You
famous.
won out. Oh, okay. That's true.
And he got to get paid to kick a guy in the chest.
Okay,
knock him
Scott. I
unconscious.
was. You're right. Shit. Okay, you lose, Scott.
And he gets to like, you know, shoot that alien gun. I mean, really, it's not an
That's
even
pretty cool. I'm not a gun
comparison.
guy, but that
And
alien
hold the
gun
gun to a
kind of
cock.
ripped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Into a cock.
get me on Grindr. I am going to do that. I need to get a gun
All right,
first, though.
Scott, are you a boner?
Finger gun. Yeah, you can finger gun it.
I can
All right.
finger him without the gun.
One finger, two fingers.
God damn it.
Ask your doctor about Air Supra, albuterol budesonide. Eligible patients can pay as little as $0 per inhaler, subject to eligibility rules and maximum savings limits. Restrictions may apply. Visit airsuprasavings.com to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Upgrade your business with Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning fewer carts going abandoned and more sales going cha-ching. So if you're into growing your business, get a commerce platform that's ready to sell wherever your customers are. Visit shopify.com to upgrade your selling today.
Do you like to laugh, geek out on music, and learn all about that band or artist who had that one song back in the day, but then seemed to fall off the face of the earth? If so, you need to subscribe to One Hit Thunder. Together with an array of interesting and hilarious guests, we do a weekly dive into one-hit wonders like Eiffel 65's Blue, Krayshawn's Gucci Gucci, EMF's Unbelievable, Delamitri's Roll to Me, Los Del Rio's Macarena, Musical Youth's Pass the Dutchie, and even Patrick Swayze's She's Like the Wind. So are you subscribed to One Hit Thunder or what? As Desiree would say, you gotta be. And as K7 would encourage, you gotta come, baby, come and join in on the fun of the One Hit Thunder podcast.
Benji, since you're our guest, how about we give you the honor of I'm going to gift you as Santa with my hat. I'm going to gift you the first double feature pick here.
All right. I actually had one written down, so luckily I get to go first. And I don't know if I'm going to be liked or hated for this, because it is a childhood favorite of mine and a guilty pleasure. I would double this with Alien versus Predator.
Okay.
Interesting.
We referred to
I
it
can
as
tell there's no
AVP
fans in
here.
the room.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it. I only played the game.
What?
A lot.
Okay, well, I mean, like, if
Is
you
it a Christmas
don't
movie
go...
though, or
No, but it takes place in the wintertime, and I got it for Christmas when I was like a 10 or something. So you
might as well count. We'll
movie.
watch it next year.
We'll
see you in 1 year,
maybe.
Benji. You're back on for that one.
My only recommendation: you can't go in as either an Alien or a Predator fan. You have to act like they didn't exist.
You have to go in as a fan of the human race. Got it.
oh man, that's gonna be tough.
That's going to be real tough over the next 4 years, but we'll try. Kyle.
Yeah, I saw how that turned out.
Kyle, how about you as the person who volunteered to do the plot summary?
Hellraiser 3, baby.
I knew you were gonna go with Hellraiser 3. I'm so disappointed.
I did have another one, but I actually can't. I watched it on a plane, and I haven't unpacked fully. I don't know where my notebook is that I took notes in. But I know I had another one. But Hellraiser 3, just because the
CD Cenobite. I mean, it's so obvious.
How about you, Scott?
I am gonna go with now. Again, this would be a weird night. But if we're talking about when Jesus was born and aliens came down, we're going to talk about when Jesus was murdered and aliens came down. We're talking Critters 2, the next course. That's the subtitle, right?
Main course.
Main course. Thank you. I should know better. Because aliens with guns, but also the good alien with his crazy forehead really reminds me. And also their outfits are so much like the bounty hunters in the Critters movies. So I was watching and I was like, this just feels so ridiculously over the top. And there's a lot of explosions in that movie too, so I'm gonna go with that.
Look, sorry to be the one to have the best pick, but I'm gonna pick a horror film that came out a year after this that feels weirdly appropriate to it. I'm going with The Borrower. With another alien coming down to Earth, harvesting human body parts, like absolutely. And I actually thought Scott was going to get there first, so my backup was Suburban Commando.
Hell yeah, I can see Suburban Commando. That's more of a Matt pick though.
Yeah. Well, but I'm really upset because I'm pretty sure the star of that movie is going to be a future cabinet pick. So I'm.
Oh God! Can you fucking imagine? You mean the alien monster?
Christopher Lloyd. So let's talk about promos real quick. Guys, if you're enjoying the show, or gals, go and hit us up. Patreon.com/HMN podcast. You get all types of cool perks, including a video version of the show, bonus conversations, episodes early, joining our Slack chat, all of that good stuff. Hit up our TeePublic. Find some cool designs that aren't available anywhere else, including, Scott, if you want to stand up one more time, the Bloodhook shirt. Fishing is
rude. Then Benji, when did you design this? Was this like 2020 or 2021 or something like that? It was a long
I think it was
time
2021. Ago. Yeah, it wouldn't have been 2020 because that's when I first started listening to the show and first became aware of Bloodhook.
Yeah. Benji probably regrets that he made that design every year when I incorrectly message him to do some graphic design work, confusing him for another person who did graphic design work for him.
I just know what to expect.
Every year, and he's like, hey, it's that time of year again, Matt. Wrong person.
Pretty much. I like how Matt never asks me, who did that? And I'll be like, Benji.
Well, because in my mind, I'm just like, yeah, Benji did that artwork for us.
I am glad I read the rest of the message because I would have just like, Matt, wrong person, bye, talk to you later. Because your third point was, do you want to come? It was like, here's some work, here's a request. Do you want to join us on the episode?
Well, and also, while we're at it, we did request for you to be on this episode because you're part of this movie, The Last Video Store. You were able to get us all an advance copy of it. So in place of what would usually be the What Did We Watch Last Week, I just want to talk about this for a hot second because Kyle can speak on this. I'm sure Scott can speak on this. Hell, Benji, I'm sure you yourself can speak on this. There is a moment of panic when you are asked to watch a movie by someone who you know that this might not be good, and then I have to pretend that it is. This was a fucking blast. This was so much fun.
It was so fun.
Yeah, dude, it was.
Were you worried?
Everything.
Did you what the
Yeah.
But
what
so
were your
listeners,
feelings
Benji
on
just
it?
like did the two fists up and like there's a look of relief on his face. That's ridiculous. Like the last video store is
listen. Let me be
heroin
very
for us.
clear. Let me be very clear. I'm super sincere that this movie was a blast. Benji's acting like I was going to be like, and unfortunately, my fears were founded because it was dog shit, and now here we are.
And our time is up.
No, it was. I mean, the concept is so fun. I love that it's all intents and purposes like a single set movie for the most part. There's some like mini moments here and there, but it is such a fascinating movie. Kyle, you had proposed a concept, and I'm going to kind of skip to it now, but you had proposed the concept of like, hey, what if we double featured The Last Video Store? And I'm going to double feature it with the movie I talked about last week that I watched from my friends, the Weird Vision Society. They're not tonally the same type of movie, but they definitely pull from the same like reference points and the same love of this like very specific time period of horror. And this is just, it's so much fun. From the very second that our main character walks into the video store and starts talking to the video store owner, I just was strapped in ready for fun, and that fun never stopped for the, 80 minutes that the movie runs. So seriously, this was an absolute fucking blast.
It's definitely a tight runtime. I'm very happy about that we don't really overstay our welcome with that film. And yeah, I feel like actually the moment that you brought up right there is more or less where we're going to either lose audience members or not, whether they're just kind of sold on the character of Kevin, that video store owner. And I mean, not to talk about the plot of the movie, but just to make sure that everybody knows, because I want to make sure everybody does know that this actually exists. Kevin, that video store owner, that he plays the video store owner in the film. He actually owns a video store in Edmonton. It's one of the last ones.
Cool.
He still rents Blu-rays. He sells Blu-rays. And the actual set that we built is almost an exact replica of his shop up in Edmonton, right down to the VHS desk and everything like that. And Matt, you can cut this part out if you want, but it is possible that I can connect everybody to Kevin to pre-order The Last Video Store directly through him. So he's actually making a little bit off of the movie himself, because he obviously did it for free, which the small group of them from Edmonton kind of did it all for free. But I'm trying to kick everybody his way as much as possible. I know Arrow's going to make their money regardless, but
yeah. Would that be the Arrow release that he sells, or is that is Black Fawn doing a different?
Okay, so he's going to be selling the Arrow release. He's already got pre-orders made,
cool.
And then I think Black Fawn is going to be doing their Blu-ray release early next year, which should have my commentary on it. We didn't get the request in time to do it for Arrow, but there should be my commentary on the Black Fawn distro, which Kyle. It was a dream come true when I was asked to do that. I think I almost died for any filmmaker to actually get a chance to talk about that. And then secondly, I just got confirmation like last week that we're actually getting a VHS copy release of it as well through Black Fawn.
You kind of have to, right? Like,
we talked about it and joked about it on set, but the fact that it's actually someone is putting money to, because we couldn't afford to do it from what we were standing on at that point. But yeah, no, it. And, you talked about my reaction, and it's just because I know that this film isn't for every audience member, and it is kind of for our community for sure, but I don't just expect people to latch onto it necessarily. And I've just been so overwhelmed with the amount of people that actually have latched on to the spirit of what it was like on set. Because I think if people enjoy the film, then they understand what it was like on set, because everybody was wearing horror shirts pretty much every day, and we had a soundtrack to each day, and I think it showed on the screen, and I'm glad people are picking up on it.
Well,
I think go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think the big element is that Kevin. There's a version of this movie where Kevin is like the snarky, slide his glasses up his nose video store clerk. And the fact that he's more of yes, he has his opinions on what is the better film by starring certain action figures, but he just loves film. And yeah, I think that's what that opening scene is so interesting, is that it really is setting up like this guy appreciates Citizen Kane the same way that he appreciates like the 5th Friday the 13th from Canada film, because he just loves movies so much. And that, I think, makes it so much easier to just root for him the whole time when, like, mild spoiler alert, a lot of shit happens to him. Like, he is the punching bag of the entire movie. And you feel bummed. Like, there were like 4 different times where I was like, oh no, he's going to die. Like I loved his character enough that I wanted to see him make it as far as humanly possible, because he's just such a charming character. And knowing that it's basically a person, not saying he's not acting, but he's playing so close to himself, makes sense, because the character felt so genuine and real from the very first second.
Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of I think the other thing too, and I think visual style has to apply a lot to this, because you did break a lot of rules in order to make this thing happen. I think, you know, we talk a lot about on this show about these attempts to really mimic and mirror nostalgic visual styles. Like we've talked about it with VHS, with WNUF, and which are all we really hold a candle to, or we hold in high regard, I should say. Yeah. We hold in high regard those things that are able to accomplish specific like mimics. And this one, which I think I wonder, I'm going to ask you the question after I wind up about this, but you break those rules. Like, you implement those like mimics and those trailers moments and those like, the film drops in these moments that are talking about movies within the video store that are like not even trailers, they're just watching the movie. So you have to do a scene from the movie within the store, and then you get to just totally annihilate that, both with our characters, the video store owner, and then our customer, who are kind of at odds as to like what the fuck's going on in this space. But I think that it's almost refreshing that we're not going in with just another attempt to recreate a thing. We actually are kind of turning it on its head, and it is the last video store, so you're also bringing in a point of view of people who don't know what that is. And Benji, I was going to ask you, were you also involved with shooting those scenes within scenes, or were you more like what was it like to be able to create a space and then try to emulate a thing that clearly you've grown up with and knew and loved and were able to tap into?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I really have to throw out credit to like the 2 directors along with Kevin. Josh was who played Viper. He was also good friends with them, but Cody Kennedy and Tim Rutherford, they also grew up on this stuff. Like, they're a little bit old, a few years my senior, and they, like, if we were all at a table together, the conversation wouldn't stop, because they come from that kind of upbringing, more or less. So unfortunately, they actually shot a lot of those VHS scenes on their own, or they already had them from previous short films that they had done. I helped out with a couple of them, because I say unfortunately because they were actually my most excited scenes that I was hoping to shoot. I was supposed to travel, budget things as budgets do, and I didn't make my way over there to help out with those. But we had a baseline of what we were working with, and I kind of used those to my advantage to help with that color palette and kind of establish the setting and overall vibe inside of the video store, more or less. But yeah, it's like specifically the Zamboni run overkill was the one that I was just like, I cannot fucking wait to shoot that. Like, I can't. Well, okay, it'll be cool to see it on the screen.
Well, it felt seamless.
I will make a shout out here as well. The score. The composer, Brendan Bouchard, was the original cinematographer who like shot their short films when they were just getting started. So he like continued on, did the score for them, and he helped out with those scenes. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, don't be sorry. Then that being said, you were able to like really flawlessly be able to kind of shift the tone when these not to be too spoilery, but there are influences from the videos of the video store that then apply to the video store's interior and to the real life situation that our characters are going through, and you were able to sort of like separate those and have those come to life in a really beautiful way. Because I loved the sort of it feels like an anthology in a lot of ways. It's as if we never left the through line story. It's like we have these moments that you get to allude to different genres and different styles and different stories that are all taking place in the now, which is just like it's visually it's a lot of fun.
Well, I appreciate you kind of actually bringing that up and even noticing it, honestly, because from the filmmaker's perspective, Kyle, when I read through the script, like you guys said, it all took place within one room, more or less, aside from, bathroom and the back shop room. But the first question I had was, how do I keep one room interesting for an hour and 20 minutes? Mm-hmm. That's kind of where we started breaking it down into those color palettes.
Yeah.
But
it never felt like never felt uninteresting for being in one room, and like we all love video stores, but there was like we also know what they all look like, and I loved all the all the Astron 6 stuff was fun. All like there was a couple full moon things kicking around over there if I remember correctly. Like it was great. It was a familiar environment, but it also didn't feel too niche. Really, really lovely.
Nice. Yeah, I think Full Moon, I can't remember who owns it. Matt might be able to name the person who owns it, but when they reached out to him via email, his response was just yup to show posters and shit. He did.
Charlie.
Yeah. That came straight from the top.
Yep. Real quick, let's have Scott and Kyle also throw out what their last video store double features would be, and then Benji, tell people where they can go get a copy of this or see the movie themselves, and then we'll wrap it up and get ready for the start of a new year.
All right, well, I'll do real quick. I feel like this is an imperfect double feature with Last Video Store because there's something in the back of my brain that seems like it would be a better double feature that I'm not thinking of. But I still think this would be really good, and I think that it also is a great use of a single set. Glorious from Rebecca McKendry. Very similar in kind of the, if I can say, cosmic horror aspects. Yeah. And
I'd say similar color palette. A little bit.
Yeah, a lot of purple, which is super cool.
I wish I had seen it, damn it.
Both great movies. I enjoy both. And I feel like if I were to double feature them together, that would be like a great 3-hour time. It would be like just such a good
Scott,
time.
I got some great news for you. It would be under 3 hours for both of those because I think both of them run under 80 minutes. So it would be a great 2 hours and some change.
Yeah. I would go ahead and pair it with a movie called Beyond the Gates, which is sort of like a VHS Jumanji, which just, again, aesthetically...
Starring Barbie Crampton, right?
Yeah. Barbie Crampton's in it. Yeah, it has somebody, the lead from John Dies at the End, whose name escapes me, but also video store oriented and a whole hell of a lot of fun. And Benji, do you what would you double feature it with? Is it Alien versus Predator? Do you have another?
No, the Last Video Store. What would I double feature it with? Shit.
Not sorry, I put you on the spot there.
Well, there's this other movie called The Last Video Store, which is about a romance, and I don't fucking know. I've heard all about it though.
There can only be one Last Video Store.
You're catching me so off guard here. Give me 2. Look at my posters. None of them would work. Forbidden World.
That's right.
Of course.
Very
nope,
nice.
That's correct.
And also, I don't know if you guys caught it because I sure as fuck didn't, and I was looking for it, but Jesse Vint, the star of Forbidden World, popped up in Dark Angel as driver of Mercedes.
What? No.
So glad my boy was still getting work.
Incredible. he got his day's worth of work from that.
Yeah. He wasn't even in the film. He just drove the Mercedes. Sorry.
Benji, where can people go to see and maybe even acquire a copy of The Last Video Store?
All right, so for The Last Video Store, we've had a very limited theater run. It's only in select cities across Canada. By the time you hear this, they will be done. But December 10th, Arrow Video is releasing the special edition Blu-ray for pre-order. Actually, no, it's available for pre-order now. It will be releasing December 10th, and you can get your hands on it. I don't know exact date when it will be available on Arrow Player, but it should eventually be on Arrow Player as well. And then going into the new year, we've got Black Fawn Distro, a Canadian distributor, that's going to be releasing a second edition Blu-ray that has a few different special features that you can't find on the Arrow, along with the VHS copy at some point in the new year. That all being said, I would also recommend that you look out for, I think it's just called The Lobby on White Avenue. It's a Facebook group that Kevin himself runs. It's for his actual Blu-ray DVD rental shop that he has there in Edmonton. He's very active on there. He doesn't have a website. He keeps everything very personal, more or less, but I would highly recommend connecting with him on the group. You can pre-order through him. He just does an e-transfer. He takes down your address and everything like that, and he sends it out to you. I've pre-ordered through him a few times. He's extremely reasonable, and he's very, very fast. And he's also just a great guy to chat with. Like, I feel like if he was in this conversation, he would just fit right in. Can't say enough good things about him and the directors as well.
Now
So,
there's
that's where you can grab
the
it.
Canadian nice guy that we knew we were going to see eventually.
That's what you're expecting. Before he trashed
I guess I
show
should
in
get
email.
AI to rewrite my emails. Make me seem nicer.
I'm also, and maybe I'll embarrass you, but Benji also is part of a selection of short films on YouTube under. I want to say, oh my God.
Oddly Dark.
Oddly Dark, right? It's Oddly Dark. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
I panicked and then I'm worried I was going to misspeak. Oddly Dark. They're fun little, less than 3 minute long horror shorts that I've really enjoyed watching as they had come out. Obviously, Benji, you've been a busy boy.
What's the one called
some...
with the cleaning service?
That's Squeaky Clean.
Oh God,
Squeaky Clean.
Yeah.
Squeaky Clean's
listeners,
gnarly.
if you need to watch one of the Oddly Darks, watch Squeaky Clean. It's like what, 3 minutes
Clean's
long?
great.
Yeah, something like
not
that. To your point, Kyle, we call them horror sketches. You know, like comedy sketch, but they're horror sketches. And we are currently, in the future, we are going to be doing a collaboration with my old roommate Steve's Bucket of Chum podcast and do kind of like an Oddly Dark Bucket of Chum collaboration.
We know that
Very
guy.
cool.
We know Bucket of Chum.
Him and I
We
were in
know
college
that
together.
guy.
He's my old roommate.
I didn't realize that connection. Okay.
Yeah,
I did.
Who came
We're
first?
close friends.
Did Steve introduce you to us, or did you introduce Steve to us?
I introduced Steve to you guys, which was also his introduced to podcasts in general. He wasn't really a big podcast listener, and now he is a podcaster. So
That's how it
take
happens.
what you will from that, Matt. I don't know.
You listen to one.
Tons of sharp.
It's like taking space heroin.
Yeah,
all
It
right.
just happens.
endorphins.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week with our last episode of 2024. So stay tuned.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.